long does it usually take to put up the art? Like in your experience or from?
It usually takes a day or two to install the artwork, and then after that we have to put up the labels and patch up the walls, things like that. So
that comes after the regular day of installation.
Correct. And then on the day before the opening, we have an exhibition walkthrough where the students talk about their respective artists to the rest of the class, so that all the students can give a tour of the entire exhibition to the guests.
You roll that cake.
High Aesthetics and Values 2014.
Yeah, it's like this. It just, you build up for months, and then all of a sudden it just,
It's fast,
yeah. It's just putting stuff on a wall, really. That's what it comes down to. And if you know how to do it, they're just objects. You're putting an object on a wall. And you guys laid it out.
Yeah.
Quais discos ele tinha quando você era criança? Você lembra? What I'm doing is creating fictitious stories based on, this material. I mean, so it's partly autobiographical, but it's also partially fictionalized. So even though there may be people that I know, a lot of the images are, I shouldn't say a lot, but some of the images are people that I don't know. And so, anyway, like I said, I'm creating this fictionalized story, but this is a story that's not really well known. The black population of Florida from that time period is not a story that's known very much. The two men, two lives, I'm not really sure of the real time frame on both of those images, but they look to be pretty similar time-wise. But I mean, you look at the way that one looks very casual, but was kind of work clothes, and the other guy's dressed up in a suit, and all through the 20s, 30s, and into the 40s, they probably stopped doing it so much. And it's it's just it's a real. It's not really a story, but it's just one little bit of text. So that came from right. So but I mean that's fiction. The names of the two people are real, but all the rest of it is made up. And there was a cathedral somewhere in Europe. And there was a little chapel inside of this cathedral where this blind girl was rubbing her hands on the walls because inside this chapel was all covered with beeswax because you could smell it. It was really, really, a nice smell. But she was just rubbing her hands on it because she had infection. Yeah. And so that was kind of what I was thinking about when I decided to use copper. Was the smell and the texture, but also this kind of feeling quality about it because it was in the chapel. But I mean, it's used in other ways as well. What I was thinking about was, what Florida was like when I first came here. Of course, they have to continually maintain it so it doesn't get overgrown. But You know, I mean, that's probably what you were looking at. There's something like right through there. Claim they saw a naked woman disappear in the manual. And did she disappear on that? This record covers the period of time extending from the earliest public record of Brevard County, Florida, to and including the 30th day of June, 1905, and the public records of St. Lucie County, Florida, from its organization on July 1st, 1905, to and including the date set forth in the document hereto declared. Before me this day came Miss Minnie Daniels, who was a resident of St. Lucie, Florida, and has been for a period of 18 years. Also before me appeared Joe Booth, who after being duly sworn says that they witnessed a bare, naked female with long, straight brown hair rise up out of the mangroves. That's silver was burned. Different kinds of plants grow in different areas. You know, I mean, when you have mangroves, you're not necessarily going to have cypress trees.
So yeah, I was there every other Friday, and I was from Cypress Grove. I went into one, West Spruce Lawn, and I saw all the different. I even went to remove Brazilian pepper. That's not indigenous, so it's taking over. So that class was, I mean, it was hard.
That sounds really awesome, though. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Onajide Shabaka. One of my favorite pieces is Untitled with Documents. I love the way the picture contrasts with the black background and the encaustic wax that he used to give it texture. And I love that he used old family portraits to make it really personal to himself. What do you think of Onajide Shabaka's work?
Well, at first I didn't know what to make of it. I thought it was something very refreshing, nothing like I'd seen with any of the other artists at this exhibit. So naturally, I wanted to just inquire more, see what it was all about. For what I understood by one of the presenters, it has to do with family relationships. it wasn't very appealing. It wasn't aesthetically appealing, that's what I mean to say. But it was different from everything else. So that in its own gave it like its own special character.
What was about it that wasn't aesthetically appealing? Was it his lack of color? What was it about it?
You could say it was the lack of color. You could say it's something that a 5-year-old with family pictures could have put together. I did think that incorporating flowers into the art itself was really good. It made it perhaps nicer, but still I thought it was something that didn't require any skill and not much creativity either.
Do you think the floral accents helped back up the family history story? Like, did that interest you?
Not particularly. I didn't see the connection between the floral accents and the family story. So although it did make the artwork as a whole more appealing, it didn't make it, any better.
Even though you didn't like that as aesthetically appealing, did you like the history behind it? Did you like how personal it was to him? Did that help you in a little bit understanding it, or was it just you just didn't like it flat out just because you didn't find it very good looking?
Well, a problem that I might have had is the fact that I didn't know the full family story behind it. So because it was aesthetically unappealing, I just gave it up. But I've heard of other students who like it because there's a really strong family story tied up to it. And it doesn't have to do with the aesthetics of it, it doesn't have to do with the creativity of it, but the personal relationship that he has with the art, and particularly with the pictures and what they mean to him and his family and his entire history.
Hi, I'm Melanie Ruiz. I'm the Visitor Services Representative here at the Frost Art Museum at FIU.
All right. What do you think of Onajide's work overall?
I remember seeing it and remember the minimalist use of color, his use of black, grays, and white.
Do you think his lack of color took away from his art at all, or did you like it?
No, I think actually it made it stand out. When I see the color white, I see that as a symbol of light, purity, and clarity. And I think by him using black in the image, it kind of has a contrast to those images that I saw.
Do you think that his artwork was aesthetically pleasing, or do you find that the story behind it is more what stood out in the artwork?
I thought visually it created a mood for the artwork that was displayed. Since he was using a lot of black and white photography, I noticed that in his images of flora and fauna, all of those were done in white. And those, I guess, were supposed to symbolize his family and the fact that they had been landowners at a time where African Americans did not own land. So I think he may have used the color white as a symbol of hope for the future of his family, and the fact that he's using black in the surround might have symbolized a time of darkness for what his family may have had to go through generations. And since those photos were already in black and white, I think it was a nice contrast to use that combination of colors.
So is there anything that you did not like or found indifferent about his pieces?
No, I always try to look at art. I'm not one to judge art per se, but I always like to kind of see, be a little more introspective and see and make my own opinions. Often I don't like to hear the artist speak about his art. I like to go in and see the art on my own, and then I like to hear the artist speak about what the representation of his art is. But I did think that he may have used the colors as a form of symbolism for what he wanted to portray in his artwork and the images that were being provided.
What else?